as we're talking about all things NFL here in the 2025 NFL offseason. And with free agency, all the buzz, we're going to go over the big news topics that are happening right now in the NFL. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Appreciate all you football fans. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And hey, we're going to go over all the big news happening right now in the NFL. Appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Hey, let's go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, so the big news that broke yesterday, earlier today, we see that Aaron Rodgers spent about 6 hours at the Steelers training facility today meeting with their coaches, and it said that the visit was positive, even though no deal has been struck yet. We will wait to see what happens, and I wonder, will Aaron Rodgers become the new starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? We'll have to wait and see. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday evening as we're here just talking a little football. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, so Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh sounds like it would be a pretty good fit if you ask me. But I tell you what, I think it's really weird how long this deal is taking, especially for Aaron Rodgers to get signed by a team. You imagine with a lot of teams being a little bit needy at the quarterback position that we would see somebody sign Aaron Rodgers at this point. But Aaron Rodgers is taking his sweet time, I guess. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But I think that Aaron Rodgers would fit beautifully in Pittsburgh, especially with the type of offense that Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, is going to want to run there in Pittsburgh, and especially with the type of head coach that Mike Tomlin is, and with the way that defense has been playing. The last couple of years, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been legit. That's what's got them to the playoffs anyways. So they're going to definitely have to see an improvement at the quarterback position in order for this offense to step up to be at the same par or the same level as this defense is for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, guys. So going over the next big news, we see that the Seattle Seahawks have signed another free agent wide receiver returns to Washington, as the Seattle Seahawks have signed River Kraft, a wide receiver that played at Washington State. We also see that the Cincinnati Bengals are signing free agent guard Louis Patrick to a one-year contract, and Patrick previously started 64 games for the Packers, the Bears, and the Saints over the last 5 or 6 more years, something like that. So what's going on, guys? Welcome to the chat, guys. What's going on, Zach? What's going on, Ellis? Thank you guys for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we're talking some football here, baby. So guys, if you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the chat. I'll try to get those questions answered for you. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Zach, Elias, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you, man. Zach, we'll get to some Raider news here shortly, I imagine. All right, guys, so another offensive lineman has signed in Houston, as we see free agent offensive tackle Trent Brown has reached an agreement on a one-year deal worth up to $3 million with the Houston Texans. So the Texans really trying to bolster up that offensive line after trading or releasing almost all of their offensive linemen here in this offseason. Zach says, Raider Nation, baby. Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. What do you think is the best free agent signing of this offseason? Ooh, really good question. You know, Elias, I'll give you an under-radar one, especially because what the deal was. And I think that DeAndre Hopkins going to the Baltimore Ravens is going to be one of the biggest free agent signings of the offseason. But my boy Zach, the Raider fan in the chat, hey, I do love Geno Smith going to the Las Vegas Raiders as well. So those are my two best moves here this offseason. Hell yeah, Blue. I like the Ravens, man. They're pretty cool. I guess I like watching their offense, and they're always a legit defense to play. So they play tough. So that's why they're always fun to watch. All right, guys, so another big news coming up earlier today. We see the New Orleans Saints have boosted their wide receiving core as they have signed Brandon Cooks to a one-year deal, and they drafted Brandon Cooks in the first round back in 2014. So now Brandon Cooks returns to be a New Orleans Saint. That's a big signing for New Orleans, I tell you what. I do like that. I think Brandon Cooks is going to fit in that offense very well, and I do think that with a veteran quarterback like Derek Carr, this is going to be a really good fit for Brandon Cooks. So I like that signing from the New Orleans Saints. We also see that the Giants are signing former Broncos wide receiver LaJordan Humphrey to a one-year deal. So the Giants trying to bolster up their wide receiving core. Teddy, what's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out in the chat, guys. Appreciate y'all. All right, we also see the Chiefs are making some big news here. Defensive end Charles Oahim is returning on a one-year deal worth a maximum of $7 million. So the Chiefs are able to bolster up their defensive line and help bring back a guy who's been very crucial to that defensive line thus far for the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you guys ask me any questions that you guys have in the chat. Appreciate y'all hanging out here, man. All right, we see the Tennessee Titans have signed veteran edge rusher Lazario Carter, who also played for the Giants and the Falcons. We also see the Cleveland Browns have bolstered their offensive line by signing Trayvon Jenkins, who's played in 45 NFL games, made 38 starts at left tackle, left guard, and right guard, previously played on the Chicago Bears. And guys, another big signing here for Washington, as we see the Commanders are signing former Raiders and Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup after he retired at the beginning of last year, and now he comes back into the NFL and now will be a part of the Washington Commanders. Appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Teddy shouting out about the order of the draft. Ward at number 1, Carter number 2, Sanders number 3, Hunter at number 4, and Graham at number 5. You know, Teddy, you might not be far off, although I'm hearing rumors that we could see Sanders go at 6 to the Raiders, so watch out for that. Other than that, I really do like your top 5 there, Teddy, so shout out to you in the chat, brother. What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Zach? If the Patriots sign Diggs and draft Hunter, trade or use an early draft pick on a left tackle, New Orleans second best team in the AFC East. Not a bad prediction here, Teddy, but we gotta wait to see how this transition happens with Mike Vrabel. I really do think the New England Patriots are going to be very competitive. I mean, spending all the money that they have this offseason, signing a lot of the veteran guys that they have is only going to make this team better. But I really do think that we have to see how they mesh with this coaching staff. But there's not much competition right now in that AFC East, right? Like, I think they'll be up to better than the Jets. I think they'll definitely be pretty even, especially on offense, with the Miami Dolphins. And we know how good the Bills are. So the Bills are definitely the top of that division. But I think the Patriots are going to take a big leap this upcoming season. I love the fact that they hired Mike Vrabel. So that should be a very, very good signing for them. Or I should say, you know, that's probably the best signing, a new head coach. What's going on, Romo? Thanks for hanging out in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys. And Zach, you may be right. The Raiders may need Genty, but that's a pretty steep pick. Number 6 to draft a running back. I could see if the Raiders were to draft back and then maybe get Genty at, you know, a pick just behind number 6. That could be a really big steal for the Las Vegas Raiders. But I'm also hearing a lot of rumors that either the Dallas Cowboys or the Denver Broncos could be big spots for Genty in this draft. So look out for both of those teams. Dude, Teddy, I totally agree with you, dude. The Cowboys have had the worst offseason, I think, of any team thus far, really. Although the Giants have been pretty bad themselves as well. And agree with you there. Giants, Browns, Tennessee all need quarterbacks. I'm hearing we may not see Tennessee draft a quarterback, but they really do need one. But I fully expect the Giants and the Browns to draft a quarterback. You can mark it here, guys. All right, so we'll go back to our NFL news. Appreciate you guys hanging out on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. The Vikings have added to their wide receiving core, agreeing to a deal with wide receiver Randall Moore. I think this will be a good fit for Moore in this Minnesota Vikings offense. J.J. McCarthy is going to have another really good weapon at that wide receiver position to help out in his transition in his first year as the starter in Minnesota. And that was the big news we heard yesterday, that the Minnesota Vikings are not interested in pursuing quarterback Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be really interesting to see how J.J. McCarthy takes over the reins next season. Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out on TimReynoldsShow. So Houston also able to sign offensive tackle Cam Robinson. So they bolster their offensive line once again, the Houston Texans do. We also see the Commanders guaranteeing $17 million of Deebo Samuel's previously non-guaranteed salary, along with adding another $3 million worth of incentives. Deebo Samuel will now play on a one-year deal that could be worth up to $20 million with $17 million guaranteed. Deebo Samuel also will keep the number 1 over there with the Washington Commanders. So that's going to be a very interesting 2025 NFL season for Deebo Samuel, who will more than likely be a free agent next offseason. We see a couple of different rule proposal changes happening as the NFL owner meetings are right around the corner. The Detroit Lions have proposed a significant change to the NFL playoff seeding that would largely use regular season records instead of division championships. So what that means is they want to just go by who's got the best record instead of who the division champions are as far as seeding in the playoffs, which I don't think this is a terrible idea, but I think you do run into the possibility of you make the division championship less of an importance when you do it this way. So interesting, the Lions are the ones to give this proposal as well, but could be interesting to see what the owners think about this one, but I wouldn't expect that one to pass. Now, one rule change that more than likely will pass from what I'm hearing on the internet and on social media and everything from the experts and people around the NFL and whatnot is that it looks like the Green Bay Packers, who proposed a change to stop the tush push, it says to prohibit an offensive player from pushing a teammate who is lined up directly behind the snapper and receives the snap and immediately at the snap. So this is going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward with this, but this is definitely a rule change I expect to happen at the owners' meetings, so we'll see what happens. Hey, thanks for hanging out in the chat, guys. What's going on? Appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're here for some Friday football talk on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Appreciate you guys hanging out, man. All right, so just a couple different rule changes there to look at as we head into the owner meetings here soon. And oh man, how about Netflix quarterback series coming back again for the NFL? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that one. I believe Kirk Cousins is making a return to this series, but we also will see Jared Goff, and we will also see Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow as well in this one as well. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens there. You know what I mean? We see the Jacksonville Jaguars are signing former Eagles offensive tackle Fred Johnson to a one-year deal. So the Jaguars improving their depth along the offensive line. So interesting there. We also see a new wide receiver in Green Bay, as we see the Packers have agreed to a one-year deal with wide receiver and return specialist Mecole Hardman. So Super Bowl champion Mecole Hardman will now play for the Green Bay Packers next season. The Chargers help improve their offensive line, as we see they have signed Andre James, who spent the last 6 seasons with the Raiders and now returns to LA, where he played his college football at the University of UCLA. We also see the Lions have re-signed running back Craig Reynolds. Hey, shout out running back Craig Reynolds. This is Tim Reynolds Show. What's up? Got to make sure we represent the Reynolds in the NFL. Hell yeah. Minnesota Vikings former first-round pick, 2019 first-round pick, center Garrett Bradbury has reached an agreement on a 2-year deal worth up to $12 million with the New England Patriots. A really good signing for the Patriots as they bolster that offensive line. And man, the Patriots have spent the most money here out of any NFL team here in this NFL 2025 offseason. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this pays off, but a really good bargain of a deal here. Only $3 $3.8 million guaranteed for the center that comes from Minnesota, where he started all 88 games that he played. So really interesting. I thought he might get a new deal there in Minnesota, but instead they end up releasing him, and now they will, the Patriots, after releasing 10-year veteran David Andrews, will now get a little bit younger at the position, signing Garrett Bradbury, the center formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. So appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show for this Football Friday talk. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you guys have any football questions in the chat. I'll be glad to answer those for you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. Thank you so much. So, hey man, how about the new digs for wide receiver Cooper Kupp and his new home with the Seattle Seahawks as he returns to Washington, where he played his high school ball and college football, and he also gets to wear the number 10 once again with the Seattle Seahawks, so that should be pretty interesting. What's up, Leon? Thanks for hanging out in the chat, man. And Cormac says seeding proposal in the playoffs. Yeah, we just got done talking about that a little bit ago. The Lions made a proposal of a rule change to help change the seeding heading into the playoffs. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that. The Haslams have committed to privately investing $2 billion plus in a dome stadium. This is really, really interesting, guys, as we're seeing a new world-class enclosed stadium the Dog Pound deserves from the Cleveland Browns. That is an epic video. If you guys have not got to see it yet, the renderings look absolutely amazing, and it looks like the Haslams are going to put their money where their mouth is, investing $2 billion plus into this stadium, and we'll use it as a development project a mile outside of Cleveland city limits. Crazy to think about this, man. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as the Cleveland Browns want to move literally up the road out of the city of Cleveland. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. What's going on, Sam? Welcome to the chat. Go Chargers, brother. Go Bears from my boy Leon. Trading Geno Smith for Darnold, Kupp for Metcalf and Lockett. Seattle got worse. Well, here's the thing, Leon. I don't know if they got worse yet, right? McDonald definitely had this defense for Seattle playing very, very well last year, and Seattle had 10 wins last year. I think a lot of people forget about that. So for me, when you look at Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, I would probably pick Geno over Sam, but the way Sam played last year, Sam could be pretty even and pretty much the same kind of quarterback that Seattle had last year. I really do like MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That signing, I believe, for the Seattle Seahawks was a very important signing, and now with the Cooper Kupp signing, they have a 3 wide receiver core that could really bode well for them, and of course, they got Kenneth Walker at the running back position, who, when healthy, is one of the better running backs in the NFL this season. It's that offensive line that just sucks for Seattle. So, Leon, I would have to say I think Seattle didn't necessarily get a lot better, but I don't think that they got a lot worse as a team. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Seattle in the 2025 NFL season. But appreciate your comment there, Leon. Thank you, man. And shout out to my boy Sam. He says the Chargers have the best right side O-line in the NFL. And yeah, man, we just talked about this too. The Chargers just improved their offensive line as well as they signed center Andrew James, who spent the last 6 seasons with the Raiders and now returns to LA where he played his college ball at. So the Chargers offensive line's only getting better, Sam. So shout out to you in the chat, brother. And man, I can't wait to see if the Cleveland Browns actually get this new stadium. It just looks so beautiful, the proposal and the video layout and everything. So that's pretty cool. We see the Washington Commanders wide receiver Deebo Samuel will wear number 1 in Washington. And man, big shout out to Brandon Graham as he has renounced his retirement from the NFL. He played all 15 seasons in Philadelphia and became the longest tenured Eagle in franchise history. Announces his retirement. Man, congratulations, Brandon Graham. Good luck in retirement, and thanks for hanging out, man. Oh, yeah, look at that. Sam also talking about Mekhi Becton also being signed on that offensive line. Yeah, that offensive line is going to be stacked next year for the Chargers. Way to go, dude. We also see Juju Smith-Schuster re-signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be a nice signing there for the Chiefs, getting back Juju to help out that wide receiving core. The Vikings and cornerback Jeff Okudah, the former first-round pick, now agrees to a one-year contract with the Vikings. The 26-year-old had multiple options, but decides to return to the NFC North. I think this is a great signing for defensive coordinator Brian Flores and the Minnesota Vikings. This could definitely help out that secondary. Travis Homer is re-signing with the Chicago Bears on a one-year, $2 million deal. So they'll help out that running back depth for the Chicago Bears. We also see the Philadelphia Eagles are giving offensive tackle Lane Johnson a reworked contract that will add $8 million over the next 2 years on his deal that now is extended till 2027. So he'll be under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles till 2027. And with this, he gets an additional $30 million in guaranteed as the soon-to-be 35-year-old gets a huge contract deal reworked here. And he'll get $48 million over the next 2 years, and $40 million of that is guaranteed for offensive tackle Lane Johnson. Congratulations to him. Much deserved to Lane Johnson and the Philadelphia Eagles once again making big moves here in this offseason. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, Leon, you're right. I think the Chargers showed, man, that with their new head coach Harbaugh, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with for years to come, because with all the veteran guys that they let go last year, and for them still to be able to make the playoffs with what they had, not only at wide receiver, but also with what they had in the defense, I mean, guys, it was impressive to see. I really like it. And I also like the fact the Chargers brought back Khalil Mack. I really do think they needed a veteran guy on that defensive line to help solidify that defense a little bit more. I think in free agency, they also got a little bit better in the secondary. And I love the signing of Najee Harris for the backfield for the Chargers offense. Now, we also see another signing for the Houston Texans, as they have signed free agent quarterback Ronald Darby to a one-year deal worth $2.5 million. So a nice signing there for the Houston Texans. And guys, also, this is pretty big right now. I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but right now, so far, we have not seen no trades involving first-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. And this is the closest to the NFL Draft that we've seen no trades of first-round picks since 1993, when 5 days before the year's draft, the Chiefs traded a first-round pick to the 49ers for quarterback Joe Montana. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see, will any NFL team trade their first-round pick as we head into the 2025 NFL Draft? We'll have to wait and see. But appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. Lennon? Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Marley, appreciate you, man. The Bears need to draft a left tackle. Campbell at number 10 or trade down. Yeah, not a bad idea there, Marley. I like that. That would be a very good pick for the Chicago Bears, I think. Oh, man, and how about the Cincinnati Bengals? Oh, my goodness, guys. Signing wide receiver Jamar Chase and wide receiver T. Higgins to big contract extensions. Man, and now wide receiver Jamar Chase becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, as he will make just over $40 million per year, topping the contract that the Cleveland Browns gave defensive end Myles Garrett, which made him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And just before that, we seen the Las Vegas Raiders pay Max Crosby, that pass rusher, a huge deal, which paid him the most money for a non-quarterback in NFL history. But man, Myles Garrett didn't take too long to top him by almost $5 million. And now Jamar Chase tops Myles Garrett by a little bit more than less of $1 million. But now Jamar Chase is the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL right now and in NFL history. We see that cornerback Artie Burns has reached an agreement on a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. So the Miami Dolphins help improve their secondary a little bit with that signing there. The Bengals have signed linebacker Odin Burks to a 2-year contract. So that's going to be a big help for them for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Oh, man, and how about this for the Houston Texans, man? Derek Stingley Jr. is now the highest paid cornerback in NFL history and in the NFL today, as he now gets paid $30 million per season on a new extension where he signed a 3-year, $90 million contract, and now he tops cornerback J.C. Horn, who was paid by the Carolina Panthers earlier this offseason $25 million per year, which made him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL and in NFL history. So, man, talk about a lot of big contracts being signed this NFL offseason, man. Really interesting to see when this new cap number goes up. A lot of these teams are trying to take care of the guys that they need to take care of. You know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward, man. And, man, those deals for Jamar Chase and for T. Higgins, we see Chase signs a 4-year, $161 million contract, and T. Higgins signs a 4-year, $115 million contract. So now Joe Burrow gets back both of his weapons for that Cincinnati Bengals offense. But now, question for you guys in the chat. Do you think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to re-sign Trey Henderson? I'm really interested to see if they're going to be able to re-sign him. He led the league in sacks last year with 17 and a half. I think he really does deserve the new contract extension, the new pay raise. Maybe a 2-year, 3-year deal would probably work for Cincinnati, especially because he's a little up there in age. Defensive end Trey Henderson, that is. But I'm actually kind of shocked they haven't traded him already. I mean, there should be a lot of NFL teams out there willing to give up a 3rd-round pick, maybe a 4th-round pick for tight end or for defensive end Trey Hendrickson. So I'm just really kind of shocked by that, to be honest with you guys. Yeah, too much money. I guess I'll have to agree with you there, Marley. I guess I got to agree with you there, brother. All right, so going over some other NFL news here, as we see the Baltimore Ravens have a new backup quarterback, as they have agreed to a 2-year deal worth up to $12.2 million with quarterback Cooper Rush. The former Cowboys quarterback now will back up quarterback Lamar Jackson as he gets this new 2-year contract with $4.2 million guaranteed. That's a good signing there for Baltimore. We're getting a nice veteran backup, you know what I mean? Oh, Marley, I am so pumped up for Reddick, dude. We got him on such a good deal for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I haven't even been able to post my Tampa Bay Buccaneers news yet. It's been such a hectic week, but man, getting him, re-signing Chris Godwin, being able to get back linebacker Levante David. We've also made a couple of other big moves to kind of help with our depth, but man, right now we are killing it right now in free agency. I would give the Bucs an A grade for their free agency thus far. And hell yeah, Marley, I totally could see that realistically. 12 plus sacks for Reddick in this defense? Oh yeah, dude. I do see it happening. I mean, you put him on the same defensive line with Cansey and Vita Vea? Oh, dude, it's going to be crazy. All right, guys, so another big trade happened this offseason as well, as we see the Minnesota Vikings adding to their running back depth as they have traded for running back Jordan Mason with the San Francisco 49ers. This is a pretty big deal. Jordan Mason led the league in rushing last year through the first 4 weeks of the season, so he's capable to be a legitimate running back number 1, but now the Vikings have 2 number 1 running backs after they already re-signed Aaron Jones to a 2-year deal. Now they get running back Jordan Mason from the San Francisco 49ers, and Minnesota sends over a 2026 6th-round pick and a 6th-round pick from the 2025 NFL Draft, pick number 160 this year, to San Francisco, and San Francisco will send over running back Jordan Mason and the number 187th pick in the 6th round of this year's draft to Minnesota. And it's also going to be a really good deal for Jordan Mason because now Mason is signing a 2-year deal worth just over $7 million fully guaranteed and a maximum value of about $12 million. So that's a very good contract for Jordan Mason, who will get a pay raise and he'll get to go on another team, a more contending team, especially after San Francisco missed the playoffs last year and the Vikings were legitimate contenders last season, although they got blown off pretty bad in the playoffs last year, though, too. We see that former Eagles wide receiver Paris Campbell has reached an agreement on a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. So a really interesting signing there for the Cowboys. Laramie Tunsil is the new left tackle for the Washington Commanders. A good trade for them in that end, too. I really do like that for the Commanders' offensive line. That should help out a lot, I really do think. The Eagles have a lot of draft picks coming up here in the draft, as they also have 2026 compensatory picks in the round number 3, 4, 5, and 6, and already have the Jets' 3rd round pick in 2026 from the Reddick trade. So that's going to be really good for the Eagles, who now will have 5 of the top 100 picks and 12 overall picks in the 2026 NFL draft. So Howie Roseman doing his thing over there for the Eagles, dude. Oh, and congratulations to fullback Kyle Juszczyk, who is returning to the San Francisco 49ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal. After he was released from San Francisco, he did go visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I guess no contract came out of that meeting with Juszczyk, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. I love the Chargers signing offensive lineman Mekhi Becton, Super Bowl champion there with the Eagles. That's going to be a really big addition for the Chargers offensive line, I think. So yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show, man. We see the Eagles making another good signing there, getting a backup tight end in Kyle Grayson on a 1-year deal as he played last year with the Indianapolis Colts. So that's going to be a really good deal there for the Eagles. Kareem Hunt's going to return to the Kansas City Chiefs on a 1-year deal. He must be really, really happy to be back with the Chiefs after possibly being almost out of the league last year. Now, he's looking to actually contend for that starting running back position, depending on if Isaiah Pacheco is going to be fully healthy or not at the start of next year. And man, guys, so far in this NFL offseason, we've seen the NFL teams have now signed players to $4.88 billion in player compensation, including $2.19 billion in guaranteed at signing. This $4.88 billion includes likely to be earned compensations, not the max value for incentives that were not deemed likely. So that number could be even bigger for NFL teams and for NFL players. I got to be honest with you, man. It's really nice to see players starting to get paid, man. Hey, man, congratulations to Tim Patrick, man. Wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, re-signs with the Lions. A good deal, a good addition there for the Detroit Lions. And Sam in the chat says, I'm calling it now. Ladd McConkey will be the West wide receiver in Chargers history. Hey, he's already the best rookie wide receiver in Chargers history, so you're already halfway there, man. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to terms with cornerback Adoree Jackson as he gets a 1-year deal with the Eagles. That should be a very good addition for the Eagles secondary. And how about my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby, as we have re-signed quarterback Kyle Trask to backup quarterback Baker Mayfield. And guys, believe it or not, this is the first Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback in a very, very long time to sign a second contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So pretty cool. We also see that the Cowboys have signed running back Miles Sanders to help out that running back room and that offense for the Cowboys. Very interesting. But man, this was tough for the Cowboys this past week as we've seen that both quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb talked to wide receiver Cooper Kupp about joining the team, but the team and Kupp and his team, or his agents, couldn't agree on a compensation on a good work contract. I mean, Cooper Kupp got a pretty good deal in Seattle, about $15 million per year, I think is what it ends up being at. I'm not sure what the guarantees are on that contract, but I really do like that situation there for Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to fit well in Seattle's offense. I really do, especially with quarterback Sam Darnold. We see the Chargers. They're signing veteran backup quarterback Taylor Heineke and putting him to a one-year contract extension worth up to $6.2 million. So a good deal for him. The Kansas City Chiefs signed a new backup quarterback, and veteran quarterback Gardner Minshew will now serve as Patrick Mahomes' backup for the Chiefs. I do like that for the Chiefs. A nice backup there just in case anything does happen to Patrick Mahomes. I think Gardner Minshew could play very, very well in that Chiefs offense. DK Metcalf will now wear the number 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A nice number change there for the wide receiver that did come from Seattle. And man, Seattle didn't take long giving their DK Metcalf's number to their new quarterback. That was really interesting to see. We also see that the Washington Commanders are bringing back wide receiver Noah Brown as he's returning on a one-year deal worth up to $4.5 million. So a nice depth signing there for the wide receiving core for the Washington Commanders. The Pittsburgh Steelers are re-signing wide receiver Scotty Miller to a one-year deal, and the Commanders are also re-signing wide receiver KJ Osborne to a one-year deal as well. We see the Philadelphia Eagles have reached an agreement on a one-year deal with linebacker Joshua Juszczyk, who came from the Kansas City Chiefs. So, interesting depth position there, interesting signing. And guys, my biggest signing here so far in this free agency, I said this earlier in the chat, I believe that is DeAndre Hopkins going to the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is an excellent signing for them. I think finally Lamar Jackson has a number 1 wide receiver in this offense. And hey, they're getting him for a bargain as well. So we could see the possibility, in my opinion, if DeAndre Hopkins plays very, very well with the Baltimore Ravens this year, which I expect him to do, I think they might rework this deal and give him a contract extension, probably even before the end of the year. So I really do like this fit. I think this is probably one of the best free agent signings thus far in the offseason. So appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Don't forget, guys, to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, GRC. Appreciate the comment there, my friend. Also, guys, some other signings to look at here as the former Buccaneers linebacker KJ Britt has signed a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins, and former Dolphins linebacker Anthony Walker has signed a one-year deal as he'll play linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a good signing there for the Bucs, and I also like that signing for the Miami Dolphins. That's a veteran guy right there at linebacker. KJ Britt's a tackling machine. He's not very good in coverage, or at least what you would like a middle linebacker to be, but he's a tackling machine. So a good signing there for the Dolphins. I love the signing of Anthony Walker for the Bucs. They get a little bit more athleticism at the linebacker position, and Anthony Walker is pretty good in pass coverage. At least I would say an improvement over KJ Britt in that regard. Maybe not so much of a thumper of a linebacker, but still a pretty good linebacker. And man, this one really kind of took me off guard as the New England Patriots have released longtime center and team captain David Andrews. Man, the two-time Super Bowl champion now is a free agent, and I'm really, really interested to see what's going to happen with him going forward as well. Because he could be a really big free agent for somebody to sign. I'm not even playing, man. I really do like him as a free agent for a lot of teams. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there, man. Oh, it shaved it off, man. It was getting a little too much, Jamie. Welcome to the chat, though, bro. Appreciate you, man. Looks like Andrews is recovering from shoulder surgery. If he decides to retire, the expectation is that the team would host a ceremony to honor his widespread contributions over the last decade. Yeah, you know, the guy was definitely one of the pillars there for the New England Patriots, so. And we also see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have reached a one-year agreement and deal with cornerback Kendall Vildor, formerly of the Detroit Lions. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers add to get a little bit more depth there in their secondary as well. We've also re-signed Bryce Hall, who was on the team last year, but unfortunately was out the whole year with an injury. So it's nice to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing back a lot of guys that not only know the system, whether it's on offense or defense, but also guys that have really contributed to the team. And man, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of those franchises that a lot of players are going to want to start coming to play with because they re-sign their guys. They are legit one of those franchises who give their guys contract extensions, pay their guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. Reportedly, wide receiver Chris Godwin left over $20 million on the table returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But hey, your salary cap is what your salary cap is. So hopefully this means that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will do good. And Jamie, shout out to you and your Eagles, man. The way Howie Roseman's been able to play with the salary cap and give guys extensions that really deserve it. Unfortunately, they lost a bunch of pieces on defense, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward. What's up, NFL Products? Thanks for hanging out, brother. What's up? Oh, man, need a drink. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on the show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hell yeah. NFL, you right, Cooper. Going to Seattle. He's going back to Washington. I love it. And, guys, I love this move, too, and I know my boy Sam's going to like this, too. Wide receiver Mike Williams signs a one-year deal to return to the LA Chargers. Man, this is a big deal for the Chargers. They now have a guy that could be legitimate, their number one wide receiver, especially next to Lab McConkey, who's an excellent slot receiver already. I think this 1-2 combo is going to be great for the Los Angeles Chargers. And, man, Justin Herbert gets back one of his primetime wide receivers, so I really do love this move, to be honest with you guys. One of the better underrated signings, I think, so far in this offseason. Another underrated signing, in my opinion, guys. Free agent quarterback Mac Jones agrees to a 2-year deal worth up to $7 million with $5 million guaranteed with quarterback Mac Jones. Jones, who was the quarterback that we all thought a few years ago the San Francisco 49ers were trading up for to draft. But it turns out it was Trey Lance. We all know that didn't work out too well. But right now, the San Francisco 49ers are working on a new deal with quarterback Brock Purdy. But we've already seen Brock Purdy be a little bit injury prone throughout his few years in the NFL. So this is a big sign for San Francisco, especially because right now, one of the most valuable positions for an NFL roster is the backup quarterback. I think Jameis Winston right now is one of those guys on the market that is a commodity right now, and you want a guy like that who started in the NFL, who can help out either a young guy or be there as a good veteran backup just in case anything happens to your starter. I think right now, not enough NFL teams are thinking about what could happen if your starter gets injured. So you got to be willing to predict that and deal with that. You know what I mean? Hell yeah, Sam. Good opinion. Jamie wants to know, what's your opinion on Jalen Hurts? All right. Jackson Hunt? I'm not sure who that is, Jamie. You'll have to explain in the chat, brother. We also see that the Commanders are adding to their defense as well, as we see Wedge Wise Jr., the defensive end who played the last 8 seasons in New England, will now sign with the Commanders, and also cornerback Jonathan Jones, who played 9 seasons in New England, both now will sign with the Washington Commanders. That deal for Wise, the defensive lineman, is a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. So very nice offseason for the Washington Commanders thus far. They're going to be even better than they were last year, man. And they made it to the NFC Championship game. So watch out for the Commanders next season, guys. For real. All right, guys. So, hey, notable running back deals here to go over. Some of them, actually, I wasn't even too sure about. Jeremy McNicholas re-signs with the Washington Commanders, so he's back on the Commanders offense, helping out that running back room. Ty Johnson returns to the Buffalo Bills. We see the Chiefs added Elijah Mitchell. I think that's a very underrated signing there for the Chiefs. Samaje Perine, who comes from the Chiefs, now will go back to the Bengals, who I believe drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. Khalil Herbert goes to the Colts. Jonathan Williams goes to the Cowboys. Rico Dowdle also goes to the Panthers. A.J. Dillon to the Eagles. I like that one right there. And then obviously Aaron Jones to the Vikings and Najee Harris to the Chargers. What's up, Davis? It said Saints better in my opinion. Well, hey, I got to give it to you, Davis. The Saints have definitely improved their team. And not only that, they've now reworked the contracts of about 5 or 6 players on their team, even making guys like veterans Cam Jordan and Tyrann Mathieu take pay cuts, which they've agreed to help out with this salary cap issue because, man, the Saints were like $85 million over the cap when we started this offseason. So, good work for the Saints, man. I'm not going to lie. I like the signing of new head coach Kellen Moore. I think he's definitely a guy that's an up-and-comer in the NFL. Could be a legitimate head coach, too. So the Saints are definitely on the up and up, man. That's for sure, man. Yeah, you're so right, Davis. You guys are so broke. I am so shocked that the Saints have actually signed a lot of the free agents that they signed. Getting Justin Reed from the Kansas City Chiefs, that guy's definitely going to help improve their secondary. So a lot of good signings. Oh, and they just signed Brandon Cooks today, the wide receiver that they drafted in the first round back in 2014. So the Saints, hey, not too shabby as far as the free agency goes. I really do think the Saints could be contenders next year. I'll be honest with you, Davis. I like the Saints next year more than I do the Falcons. I really don't know if the Falcons got better so far this offseason. I really don't think they have. What's going up, Gerald Ross? Got a Broncos fan here. Thanks for hanging out, man. Huh, okay. So Jackson Hunt is a linebacker we took in the draft. He's an edge rusher. So I may have seen Hunt a little bit, Jamie, for the Eagles defense. I think you got a guy that has a lot of development to do. He's definitely got a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? I think he's got a chance, man. I think he's got a lot of potential. Let's say that. I think he's got a lot of potential. Do you think Seattle will use those extra draft picks to get O-linemen? Yes, NFL products. I really do think Seattle will focus on that offensive line. I don't really think they have a choice. Like, they have depth and they have guys at other key positions, but their offensive line is not good. So Seattle, draft offensive linemen. I would not be shocked to see them draft maybe 3 or more offensive linemen in this upcoming draft. So look out for Seattle to do that. Thank you for your question, though. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to Gerald Ross, the Broncos fan. Hell yeah. My team's in shambles right now. Hey, Ross, I wouldn't say that, man. I really wouldn't say that. Right now, the Denver Broncos added a couple of really good pieces for their defense. I think they got a really good deal in linebacker Dre Greenlaw, as long as he's able to stay healthy. And the same thing with Hufanga, the safety there from San Francisco as well. You got some pretty good deals with those guys. That should definitely help improve your defense. Now, the offense, I'm a little worried about them as well. They need to get another wide receiver too, if you ask me. And they also need to solidify the running back position. I am kind of shocked that they didn't go for any of these big veteran running backs in the market thus far. So, hey, Gerald Ross, look out for the Denver Broncos to try to draft, maybe even trade up to get running back Genty of the Boise State Broncos. I think that's a perfect fit, a perfect draft pick for the Denver Broncos, and I hope you agree. All right, guys, another underrated trade. We see linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr. and a 2025 7th-round pick are traded from the Titans in exchange for a 2025 6th-round pick. As we see, Kenneth Murray Jr. will be traded to the Dallas Cowboys. So an underrated deal there could definitely help out the Cowboys defense. So we also see the New York Jets have not only released veteran linebacker C.J. Mosley, but they've also agreed to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with former Packers center Josh Myers. So he'll now be the starter more than likely at center for the New York Jets after being a 4-year starter there in Green Bay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's about it there for today, though, man. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence going to Seattle. That's a pretty good one. We got Darius Slay going to Pittsburgh. Hey, and Evan Ingram going to Denver. That's a big one there. Shout out to Gerald Ross in the chat. Denver Broncos getting Evan Ingram on a 2-year, $23 million deal with $16.5 million guaranteed at signing. A excellent 2-year deal for Evan Ingram and the Denver Broncos. That's definitely a really, really good deal for them. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Honestly, the defensive side of Seattle is better side because the injuries. Kenneth Walker couldn't stay healthy, and Sam Darnold and Cooper need to stay healthy to be contenders. NFL, I totally agree with you, man. I think Seattle could be legitimate contenders next year. McDonald's has that defense playing very, very well, especially with the underrated guys they have on that defense. And I think when you look at this offense, if Kenneth Walker can stay healthy and they improve the offensive line drastically, I really do think that Sam Darnold will be able to have some time and be able to throw the ball to guys like Cooper Kupp, Mardez Valdes-Scantling, and Jigma, Jarius Smith and Jigba. Like, having those three guys, you got three legitimate weapons at the wide receiver position. So if they're able to stay healthy, I really do think they can make this happen, guys. So appreciate you guys hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. This has been my Friday football talk right here on Tim Reynolds Show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here on the channel. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show for more NFL news and content throughout the 2025 NFL offseason. With free agency almost in the rearview mirror, we look forward to the 2025 NFL draft, and I really do think it's going to be an incredible draft. And guys, make sure you check out Tim Reynolds Show, as I assume we'll be adding some more NFL content where I'll be going over my top free agent additions for each team in each division, and I'll also be giving what I believe are their draft needs as we head into the 2025 NFL draft. So make sure you guys check that out. Appreciate all the love and support, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and look forward to more of my NFL content right here on Tim Reynolds Show. And for your wrestling fans, I will be doing my WWE live play-by-play coming up later tonight for Friday Night SmackDown. So thank you guys for hanging out here. Thank you, football fans. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Peace out, everybody. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys to hanging out here on one of the most entertaining and electrifying sports entertainment channels on all of YouTube. This is Tim Reynolds Show. Now let's go. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, football fans. Thank you, NFL fans. And thank you, fans of Tim Reynolds Show. And thanks for hanging out here on this Football Friday talk here on March 21st, 2025. Thank you guys so much. Happy belated St. Paddy's Day to everybody. And I hope you guys are all doing well. And thank you guys so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Appreciate y'all. Peace out, man.